like there's a very good chance that Nano would punish you and
Yeah.
hurt you. Hey everybody, I'm Nick. I'm a director living in Taiwan.
Hey everybody, I'm Luke. I'm cinematographer living in Taipei, Taiwan.
And today we're back in the studio again.
Yeah.
Feels pretty good.
Yes, exciting.
Today I want to talk about a show from Thailand called The Girl from Nowhere.
转学来的女生.
Usually we talk about stuff from Taiwan, but this show was on Netflix and it was #1 trending in Asia for a little while.
Nice one.
And so a lot of people in Asia watch it. You know, I think it's a really interesting show and I think everybody should watch it, so that's why
Me too.
I want to discuss it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So this is a horror series that's on Netflix. It has 2 seasons already. The first season was produced for Thailand TV, and then it got picked up by Netflix, and they produced the second season specifically for Netflix, and now both are up, so you can watch 2 seasons of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It stars a girl named Chicha Amatayakun, and she plays a girl named Nano, who it's a very interesting idea where she's like a demon that goes to all of these different schools and basically finds people who are doing something wrong and then teaches them a lesson. And I think the really interesting thing about it is that a lot of times the characters act in a way that isn't, you know, it's a way that you might have acted.
Yeah.
Like it's a mistake that you can think, yeah, maybe I would have done
Do
that.
the same things.
Yeah, like sometimes not. Like sometimes people are really bad.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, like the first episode, like the guy is like terrible.
The teachers.
Yeah,
one.
he's like,
yes.
but like in some of the cases you think like, yeah, maybe they're not wrong, but then they still get punished like really badly.
Kind of. Sometimes she just put a really tough situation between those students, so it's really hard to tell. Maybe not they are not necessarily wrong at all.
Yeah.
But just in this situation, you just couldn't do something you consider to be be right.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's obviously clearly like a right and wrong in the world of this show. Like they say, like if you do something bad, like they basically tell you like this is bad and this is why it's bad, and now you're going to be punished for it. But it's like sometimes it's a mistake that I think would be easy for somebody to make. My favorite part of the show is I think that the main actress is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that the character of Nano is like it's like one of the best characters I've seen on TV in a really long time.
Yeah.
Because she is, at the same time, she's really scary, but she's also really likable. And like you root for her and you want her, you like watching the show wanting to see, ooh, how's she gonna punish the people?
Yeah.
But actually, it's really scary what she's doing. Like she's doing like these really bad things to them. And
sometimes over the top.
yeah, exactly. And then as a viewer, you think like, yeah, I'm on Nano's side. But like in reality, if you met Nano in real life, she might be like, there's a very good chance that Nano would punish you and hurt you. So it's like this weird relationship you have with the character where you're like, she's really scary, but she's also like, you wanna root for her and you like her and you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You kind of, you as an audience, you are in a safe room. You're watching the show, so you are safe, right? Yeah. But in reality, if she's your classmate or something, you will be terrified. You will be, I couldn't do anything wrong or bad. I have to protect myself. Otherwise, I will get punished very badly.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, she just put up every bad of humanity up, empathize it and just make you feel bad. Right. Sometimes I don't agree totally. Sometimes I just feel, it's not necessary to be that way. You want to see people showing their reality, but you don't necessarily to put people in those tough situations to make them have no choice but hurt each other.
Yeah.
So it's something really, conflict.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's cool about the show is that like, you know, in one way you can look at it and be like, okay, so there's right and there's wrong, but then because of the show you end up sometimes kind of feeling bad for the people getting punished, that you realize actually right and wrong maybe isn't exactly as clear as that.
Yeah, no, it's
but
not.
As a character, Nano can only punish. Like that's like her character is like she has to punish people, which is actually in season 2 you kind of learn a little more about that. So. You haven't watched season 2 yet.
Not yet.
But season 2 is interesting because once it got picked up for Netflix, like the in season 1, every story is a singular standalone story. But then in season 2, when it got picked up from Netflix, because Netflix likes shows to have like a continuous storyline, they kind of built one in. It's still like each episode is its own thing. She's still punishing different students, but there's a storyline that goes across, and you learn a little more about like who Nano is as like a demon, and like why she has to do this. And she actually, spoiler, she ends up getting like a little bit of a conflict about not wanting to punish people because she thinks like maybe I should start forgiving people.
Oh yeah.
But then when she does start forgiving people, she loses her power.
Right.
She's not as powerful. So she's powerful by the fact that she punishes. That's how she's basically alive. That's the reason that she exists.
Interesting.
As a demon, is to punish.
Right.
So if she becomes like a person and starts thinking like maybe I can kind of see that there's gray areas and let this person go, then she will cease to exist. You don't need her anymore.
Right.
So it's cool. It's a really cool, complex way of thinking about it, I think. It's a really interesting show to watch and think about. But then it's also really fun, and like even if you're not thinking about it like that, like it's it's a horror show made for basically teenagers, I guess. So like you don't actually also need to think about it that much. You can just watch it and be like, oh, I want to see how Nano kills this person, or how
you can watch it in entertainmently way.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, for me it's really when I first watching this show, I think it's kind of not really draw me into it until certain episodes really interesting to me. In like the episode is about zombie going to attack the school, and everybody is trapped in a room, and so they're just showing how different characters their reaction, how they as a teacher what is a teacher should do. It's really interesting because this really it's a closed room, and it's closed environment, so you can really showing characters.
In some ways, I think the first season is a little bit better because it doesn't have the continuous storyline, because you can watch. It's a little bit like the Twilight Zone or Black Mirror or something, where it's like each episode is separate, and you're watching it to figure out. You kind of know what's going to happen, like okay, Nano's going to punish them in some way, so they're doing something, but you're watching it to figure out, okay, what's she going to do? How is she going to punish them this time? Like, what's the way that because she always ends up like tricking them, and they think that they're going to beat Nano, like get away with it, but then she ends up flipping the situation so that they get, something bad happens to them. And so that's the fun of the show, is to figure out, okay, what's the way that she's going to do it?
Yeah.
And actually my favorite episode, spoiler again, is there's an episode where she meets a guy who's like stealing.
Right.
And he's stealing all the time, and they have like a contest to see who can steal the most. And then in the end, she actually doesn't end up punishing him. Because she falls in love with him.
Romance one.
And you think like, wow, this is so cool, because you're so nervous watching. Are you going to punish this guy? Like, I feel bad for this guy. But then in the end, you realize, oh no, she actually fell in love with him. And like you don't get it, so it kind of flips the whole concept of the show upside down. Yeah. And makes it really interesting. Like I thought that was really cool.
Warmth and happiness in this whole season is particularly really special one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the episode where you really kind of start to see another side of Nano, where it's like, oh wow, like she actually is a little different. She has like a couple like layers to the character of this weird demon, where she's maybe kind of starting to have a conflict about whether or not she wants to punish people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. And the main actress, Chicha, is just like a fantastic actress.
She just performed very well.
And she has like the most iconic thing is like the laugh.
Yeah.
You could YouTube Nano laughing, and they have like an hour. It's like an hour of Nano laughing. You can just listen to her laughing for an hour. Somebody looped it.
Okay.
What did you think about the camera in the show?
Well, I think they are using mostly DSLRs, not really fancy movie cameras. You can see the depth of field is really shallow.
Yeah, it's
low budget. It's kind of low budget. You can tell they are not spend a whole lot of money in cinematography, but still you could see there in terms of lighting, in terms of setting, they put a lot of effort on it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can see they are in a dream or in something in a dark area. It make me feel like, okay, so this is how they can achieve, right? So it's not about the limitation of the machine, it's about the imagination of image. So I think they did a pretty good job. Most of it.
Yeah, mostly. I think like with a lot of TV shows, like the first few episodes, they're still trying to figure out what the look is going to be like. So I think I recommended this show to a friend of mine, and he watched the first episode and he was like, oh, the camera is so bad, it's really shaky. Like, this is a really low quality show. So like the first episode, it's actually like the quality of the camera is not that good. But then as the show gets on and they kind of figure out, okay, how they're doing things, it gets a lot better, and they start doing what you're talking about, where they have like really cool lighting and they do some interesting like camera movements, interesting shots, and kind of make it more complicated. But in the beginning, when the first few episodes, like the camera isn't the best. And you can actually tell, especially the jump from season 1 to season 2, when they got Netflix money, like then the quality went up again. Because it's like they have more money now, they can do bigger budget stuff. Definitely an interesting show to watch, especially if you love horror. Like I think this is one of the best horror things that I've seen on Netflix in a little while. It's funny, it's exciting, it's scary. It's a good show. Check out Girl From Nowhere on Netflix. I don't know if it's available in America, but get that VPN. Hopefully, we should get sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Yeah.
We need a sponsor. All right. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if there's any TV show or movie that you want us to review.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.